We're live, a few minutes late, but time's relative, right? And this is the Sabinar Saturday with me, Sab Will, and I look something like this. Am I ready? I'm as ready as I'll ever be. Am I ever ready? That is also a good question to ask. I don't know. But, you know, it would always be funny to see the minutes and the seconds leading up to the moment someone presses go live, don't you think? So anyway, this is the Sabinar Saturday, and it's where I spend 30 minutes with you talking about my photographs of the week, because I publish photographs every day, you know, and they're photographs of Paris. And I've been publishing photographs every day for the last 2 years. It's coming up to 2 years. And then before that, many years. I've done another long-term project, publishing every day for 1,000 days in a row. And I have been taking photographs in the streets of Paris and around Paris for the last 25, even more than 25 years now. So that's me. So I'm going to share my thoughts about my latest 7 photographs from the last week, since last Saturday. And then I will talk about any photographs that you have posted in the group or the or in the thread for today. So let me just tell you where you are. Hello, if you're on the replay, welcome. You can leave comments as well, though I won't see them. And if you are watching right now, leave comments and just say hello as well, and I should be able to see those. Couple of news items, if I can put it that way. One is something very exciting. Now, let me just, tell you, someone is saying hello, and it's Reinhold. Reinhold, hello there. Nice to have you in the house. If you want to come on, if you've got Chrome or if you've got Firefox, you can actually come on into the studio and we can discuss photographs together. What do you think about that? Anyone can do that if you're in the group, and the group is the Facebook group Creative Smartphone Photography, because you might be watching this on YouTube or in another place, but this is actually taking place in a group which you can join. It's free, but you can't see this live video and comment on it unless you're in the group or you're watching on YouTube. So do join the group, and it is facebook.com/groups/creative smartphone photography. It's a wonderful group. It's going to be the best group. It is the best group on the internet for taking photographs and discussing taking photographs on these things, which are just incredible. So do join the group if you haven't already. And I do have something very exciting to tell you, and that is, let me just get rid of these for a second. And it's something that's happening in January. It's free, and it looks like this. And what it is it's one of them challenges. I don't know if you've seen those before, but it's a 5-day challenge. I can't tell you the topic just yet. That's why I've covered it over here. I don't know if you can see, but it's covered over with almost, because I do like to, you know, just tease you a little bit. So it's going to be I've got to be careful not to say the word. It's a 5-day photographic challenge, or a dare. I put dare because I couldn't fit challenge in the title there. And it's going to be really fun. It's going to be challenging and daring because not everyone dares to do this. But once you've done it, apart from having great fun doing it, you will end up with 5 really great photographs, all around the same theme, but every photograph will be very different. And it'll be something that you can take away and use in other places, and it'll be really good. That's happening at the beginning of January, so watch out for that. That's all I'm saying right now. I haven't announced it yet. I announced it officially after Christmas. There's about 10 days to register for that. There will be videos every day to watch for 5 days. There will be Facebook Live to discuss it with you, maybe a Zoom, prizes maybe, and it'll be great. All right, so the activities of the group will be put on hold during that week. Okay, so back to business. I'm going to tell you about the latest 7 photographs that I've been taking. I've been sharing with you. Well, this is the Sabinar Saturday. If you go to this this one, you can leave pictures, which I can discuss later. We've got a few pictures there. But what I'm going to show you is my 7 latest photographs. Here they are. I've realized that I can actually get rid of me, but it doesn't actually make it any bigger. So let's see if I blow that up. Does that make it any bigger than if I'm still on the screen? No. So you might as well have me. Maybe you'd prefer just to see the photograph, but sorry. So we got seven photographs, and this is completing the chapter. You see, this chapter is now finished. How big is that? Yeah. So the whole chapter now looks like this is on my. You can't see the chapter. I haven't put the full grid there yet. This is the teaser that I always give people. You can just see little hints of the photographs, and the page, if you want to visit the page, is parissetmefree.com. And I'm going to go through the last 7 photographs. If you have any comments, then please give them to me. Someone has come on. I just want to say hello, but I don't know who it is. And it might be Christina. Wow. Hello, Christina. Is this the first time you're watching? Well, welcome. I'm very, very happy to have you here. And I'm going to talk about my last 7 Paris street photographs. Now, as you see, they are not always in the street. They can be anywhere. Basically, my thing is I go into Paris. I live outside. I go into Paris. I have no agenda. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I let Paris speak to me. Wherever I am, it doesn't matter where I am. You know, I could be in the train, in a museum, in the street, on top of the Eiffel Tower. Whatever Paris offers me, I take. In this case, with my train mad son, I was going around the city, as I often do. You know, we go into Paris, and if I ever suggest that we leave the train system, he says, "No way, are you crazy?" He goes to Paris to go to Paris on the trains, and then he does all the trains, and then we go home. So there, and it's a he, because he's starting to look like I started to look like when I was about 14, when there used to be hair here, and now there isn't much, but he's got hair, and he's only 10, and he's let his hair grow a bit. And this is a nice shot of the trains. He's in one of those places where you can look through the front. It's not a driverless train, but you can actually see through. You normally can't. And of course, I tried to get another train coming towards us because that makes it much more exciting. So there's 2 trains in this shot. Again, repeat the theme, and it makes the photo stronger. He's on a train, and a train is charging past us. And it's quite, you know, there's always a tiny bit of tension when the train is thundering towards you, that kind of thought that, I just hope it isn't on the same track as us. And then it thunders by you. And the idea, I mean, I could have taken it without anyone there looking through, but a nice trick, not a trick really, but to make the photo stronger, is you have someone that you can put yourself into their shoes, as it were. So as we're looking at this shot, we can imagine we are in his head as the train is thundering past the other train. And that's quite an exciting moment. So if you can allow the viewer to somehow enter the photograph through some element of the photograph. I mean, it's very easy to put ourselves in his place because we're just looking over his shoulder. And there you are. Yeah. So there's nice colors, and there's a bit of an angle. Surprise, surprise. If you are watching on the replay, feel free to leave comments and I'll see them. If you're watching live, then please leave a comment, you know, on the photograph. When you leave a comment, I might have moved on by the time I see your comment. So could you please just include a word so that I know which one you're talking about? The next one is, now this is the second last chapter of the entire volume, and the volume is 2 years, and I'm getting to the end of volume 1. And the crazy project is that there will be 9 volumes. So that's 9 times 2 years, that's 18 years. So I have to live for another 16 years to finish this project, which I'm hoping to do. I don't know if I'll complete the project, but I certainly hope to live for 16 years. All right, so how are we doing? Okay, that doesn't want to seem to blow up. Wonder why. This one wants to blow up. Now, in the text for this, because there's a text that goes with these, you see, and if you go down on this page, parissetmefree.com, you see there's a text. Now, I don't comment on the texts here because that's not what it's about. But in the text, I say, this is good old French pride. You know, they love the French difference. We are the best and all that. And this is really like a building saying, I am the best. France is the best. But they've done something very clever. They've lit the inside of the arch with a pure white light. And the bricks are almost white. So that's white. And then on one side it's blue, on one side it's red. With the white in the middle, it's a beautiful tricolour, which is the French flag, of course. And you might think, you know, yeah, okay, France is great, whatever. But I mean, if you'd actually turn around, you would be looking directly at Notre Dame de Paris. So I think it has the right to put on its fancy clothes, considering where it is. It's some official police building or army building or something like that. So, yeah, I mean, I was walking on the way to take the train home and I saw this, and it's just one of those impressive things that you find as you wander around Paris. And I took it. In terms of photography, I've got this idea, and I don't know whether to do it or not. And I put a little hint in a poll in the Creative Smartphone Photography group. Would it be interesting for me to publish this photograph in the group, or to give a photographic hint or tip or something on every single photograph that I publish every day? I don't know. I mean, I could do a video on them as well, but I'm just thinking that's going to be more work. Would it be interesting for me to give a single photographic comment on each photograph I do? I don't know. I mean, I do it here, but would a daily thing be interesting? So what could I say here? Well, basically, I filled the frame. There's nothing extraneous. The subject is this amazing arched doorway with this crazy color, which is the French flag. And I filled the frame, you know, it's bam, it's in your face. And if there was, you know, a bit of other building or someone walking past, I mean, it wouldn't be as strong. And you've got these nice lights here, which is okay. Sorry if you're looking at the side of my head. I'm looking at another screen. Let's see if this one wants to open up this time. Yes, it does. This is on the way to Paris, and it's in a quarter. It's going through a quarter. It's in Paris. It's going through a quarter where there's a massive load of railway lines. I mean, it's huge, really wide. I mean, there must be like 20 or 30 railway lines next to each other. And it's a bit of an eyesore, and it's using a hell of a lot of space. And what they're doing is they're building a whole new quarter by covering over those rails, which gives them a massive load of space, and it's going to be a new quarter. So this is part of the building works for that. In the middle of Paris, they're not allowed to build buildings over a certain height, the height of the classic, beautiful, classic French architecture built by Baron Haussmann more than 100, maybe 150 years ago. On the outskirts, there isn't so many rules like that. So they are building high-rise ones, and they are trying to make them more modern, though. This is, as I say in the text, they tend to be like strange colors, bits of blocky things hanging off them, a few trees on the roof. Sometimes you get a wall, which is a living wall, like it's completely made of plants. So, you know, they're making an effort, but they're still kind of eyesores, but they keep them out of Paris enough for them not to be that bad. Anyway, you know, I like sometimes when I'm going in on the train to just kind of get a massive wires of electricity. There's a road going over. We're actually going past the Paris ring road there. You can see a truck on it. There's a big building behind it. And then there's these little houses underneath that are being, I mean, the bridge is almost on the houses, and above the bridge is this massive building. So it's kind of, you know, poor little buildings getting smothered by the monster of modern developments. So that's something to capture. And that's, I guess you could, if I looked for a tip from this photograph, it could be contrast. The funny little houses, the cute little houses look like they could be in the countryside somewhere. And then just a huge, massive, horrible building, apartment block above it, separated by the horrendous Paris ring road. So So that could be the theme for that, couldn't it? Contrast. Now I'm a bit late with these, and I've just written about this, and I called it. Well, it's in the outskirts of Paris again, another outskirts, and it's just these big bland tower blocks, and at the bottom of one of them is this crazily coloured cafe. I wrote a text all about it being prejudiced against the colour purple, because it's got practically everything but the colour purple. It's got red, blue, yellow, orange, green, and white, but it hasn't got purple. And I like purple, and I like rainbows. So I was a bit upset about that. The Café Culturel. So I'm trying to work out what it is. Often it's a bit like the clothes stores in Paris, in some of the cheaper areas, and they have sort of Chinese wholesalers with sweatshops behind them, and they have awful names which they think are chic, like Miss Sexy, or I couldn't even think of any others, but they're supposed to be chic for the French because they use English words, but for English-speaking people, they're absolutely awful. It's like in my hometown in Britain, there used to be a shop called Mademoiselle, which is supposed to be, exotic. But when you see them as an English speaker, and you see something Miss Sexy, and it's just this mess of a shop, doesn't quite work. Anyway, so there it is, Café Culturel. I don't know why they call it that, but they offer 3 different types of cuisine: pizza, couscous, and paella. So Italy, North Africa, and Spain, respectively. But I was wondering if they try to do all of those. I mean, how good is their, Valencia's pride and joy, paella? How good is that going to be from the Café Culturel? So I didn't go in. And if they can't even get their rainbows right without any purple, I don't think I'm going to risk it on their international cuisine. Okay, so here we are at if you've just joined, we're at it's the Sabinar Saturday. In other words, it's me, Sab, telling you about my latest 7 photographs from the last week of Paris, from the streets of Paris. I go out, Paris speaks to me, and I see what happens. And this is what happens. This is what happened last week. And let me just put up the things. All right, if this is my website for Paris photographs, and I also write a text. So I get inspired. The photograph comes, and it normally inspires a text. Sometimes the text is there already, and I look for a photograph to accompany it. So for that one, for example, I wrote about more or less what I told you. I try to write in a kind of reasonably readable, but almost artistic way, if possible. Slap that right in the middle of that one. And I haven't done any more yet. I'm late with those. The website is called parissetmefree.com. There's a website coming soon, which doesn't exist yet, called creativesmartphonephotography.com. And the Facebook group, if you're watching outside of Facebook, is called Creative Smartphone Photography. And it looks like that, facebook.com/groups/creative smartphone photography. Okay, let's get rid of that again. Now, I haven't written about these yet, so these are spontaneous, extemporaneous speaking. I taught English for a long time in Paris, and there was this guy, he was a bit of a legend. All of us wrote these detailed lesson plans for 4-hour lessons that we used to have teaching adults. And can you imagine sitting through 4 hours of English as a French person? And we wrote these detailed things, and they were supposed to tell the other teachers who came after what we'd done. And there was this guy, we called him Sir Richard. He was Richard something or other. Sir Richard. He was rather regal with a big moustache and stuff, white hair. And we'd look up, if we were taking over his class, we'd look up to see what he'd done. And across the entire space for the detailed lesson plan of what we'd done, he just wrote extemporaneous, new line, speaking. Legend. I don't know why I'm saying that. So this is, Paris is varied. If you live in any big town, it's varied. Even a small town, there's ways of really, really finding lots of funny little details. But I must admit I'm spoiled, and that's why I'm here. That's why I've lived here for nearly half my life now. It could be anything from the most beautiful classical monument to a touching statue in a graveyard. There's a lot of homelessness. There are rich people as well. They're all good, lens fodder. And if you put someone's rich high heels going past someone's soulless shoes as they're asking for money, you've got a real classic street photograph. There's a lot of graffiti of one sort or another in Paris. Graffiti and other stuff like that is a great subject. I always say this little proviso when I'm showing things of stuff on walls, and that is that if you ever take a shot of somebody else's graffiti straight on, and it's quite artistic, it's just a record shot. You haven't really added anything. And as a photographer, I believe you should be adding something. You shouldn't just be taking a record shot unless that's what you want to do. I'm suggesting, and especially in this group, and my approach is, you don't take record shots. You don't take a faithful representation of somebody else's work. What's the point of that? It doesn't do anything for you as a creative person. So you've got to try and do something else, So, I mean, have I done that here? Is quite a good question. Well, I've tried. You see, these elements probably weren't put together by the artist. The artist who did the little cat there at the bottom, if you can see, this little cat, I think it's a cat or and the one who did the bird, that might be the same artist. This thing on the ground, GTS, is nothing to do with that, I'm sure. And then this thing on the wall, leur haine, nos morts, which means their hate, our deaths. I don't know what it's about, but there it is. You're walking down a nice Paris street, bam! Their hate, our deaths. It's not, relaxing, cute little touristy stuff, which makes it far more interesting. And then you combine them. I could have taken a shot of that, but so what? It doesn't say anything. But you've got this extremely violent text, which is written in a very strong, thick black letters. Then you've got the most delicate, beautiful little scene below where a bird seems to be offering a heart or maybe a strawberry or something, almost offering to the cat below. I don't know, or maybe the cat is wishing that it could jump up and get the fruit or the bird. We don't know. But there's the contrast between such violent propos, do you say that in English? Violent text and a touching little scene. And you wonder, were they put together on purpose by anyone there, or was it just by chance? But I put them together. If you're walking down the street, you see them together, and I wanted to capture that. And then I've kind of gone for this interesting layering effect. You've got the block of the white with the heavy black text is almost echoed by the block of the curbstone down here at the bottom. You've got these two. There's this slit in the curbstone, 1/3 in, which kind of echoes the bits of the text which have been stuck together on separate pieces of paper. I think they're on A4 pieces of paper or even bigger. And then you've got this kind of blocky effect down here. I've left a tiny bit of the road itself in. Then there's another very similar sized bit of the pavement or sidewalk, if you prefer. And then you've got a larger, almost twice as tall bit of this wall. And then twice as tall again is the beigey bit with the text on. So it kind of goes from very thin at the bottom, a little bit thicker on the edge of the curb, thicker again on the curb, about the same with this, about twice as thick again, the wall up to the bird, and then twice as thick again up to the top of the photograph. So it's almost as though you've cut the photograph in half, then you've cut the bottom in half, then you've cut the bit below that in half, and then you've cut the bit below that in half, which gives it a very, very interesting composition, I think. So, there it is. Any comments on that? Because I can say what I can see, but that doesn't mean it's making sense. Someone says, "Oh, I've just missed 21 minutes." Well, it's all relative, isn't it? I mean, all you can do, you can just click play when you get to the end and you'll have all your minutes. Don't worry about that. Who said that? Tin Kutsa. Oh, Yaruska. Yeah. Hello, Yaruska. Hola, ¿qué tal? Your English is about the same as my Spanish, I think. So your French is pretty good, though. Tinkutsa, hi. Nice to see you. And so those are my thoughts. My first thoughts after having taken the shot, actually, are with you, trying to analyze why I liked it somehow. Again, and just something, I put my little credits here, which I have to because I don't want my photographs I spend a lot of time on them. So I don't want them to be out in the ether without any credits, because people take them and they'll lose the opportunity to have a backstory, which is my story. And they're mine, I took them. I recommend you, the moment you think your photographs are worth something, over and above just you liking looking at them, put your name on them. You've created something beautiful. So don't just throw them away without your name on them as though they're not worth anything. And also, what if the person wants to get in touch with you for some reason, to share their appreciation for them, or to buy them from you, or to show you their photographs, which are quite similar, for example? How can they if you haven't got your name on? So as an artist, I would recommend you put that. But the thing is, it kind of gets in the way of the photograph. So what do? Well, I normally have it at the bottom, and I try always to put it in a place that doesn't make the photograph weaker. And in this case, I almost always put it as close to the bottom as possible. But in this case, it fitted in beautifully into this curbstone, and it's about the same color. So I didn't want to chop these lines, every single, look down here, there's like little cigarette butts, I think they are. And they're part of the photograph. And if I'd covered them with this, the photograph would have lost something. So I do my best not to affect the photograph while still putting the credit. You see, I can show you every single photograph. The credit has been put in the place which affects the photograph least. I'm trying every single thing that's equidistant between chair legs, not putting it here. It would have been not quite as nice. This goes on the bench here, which doesn't get in the way of any part of this amazing thing here. Here it's in the puddle, the lightest part of the puddle, so it doesn't affect the reflections. Here, the credits are in the white bit of the building, so it doesn't cut into the blue or the red, because the line, if I cut the blue with that white credit box or the red, bam, it would be an element that's added, which has got nothing to do with the photograph. There would be a strong contrast there, which would be irritating. So I put it in the white, and it fitted in nicely, didn't it? All right, I've got two more of my photographs, and then we'll talk about your photographs. Again, if you've just joined, welcome. If you're watching on replay, welcome. And this is a show, one of several Facebook Lives that I do on the Facebook group, Creative Smartphone Photography. Welcome, and feel free to make comments, leave comments. I will reply to you. And if you want to come on the show, you can. There's a link somewhere here. Is there a link here? I think I put a link here, but I can't see it. But there is one where you can actually come on the show live and talk about the photographs with me. That would be nice if you'd like to do that. Most people are normally too timid, you poor little things, but you can. Nothing will happen. You probably won't die. You'll live to tell another tale. Okay, two more to go. I'm going to get rid of that banner. How's that? No, that's too big. I'll put that one. I'll just put that one. All right, so this one is full of color, and there's even purple in there. If you were watching earlier, you'll know that I'm happy about that. They haven't forgotten the beautiful purple color. There's every color of the rainbow. And if you contrast it with this pretty grotty, grey, yucky, stained street scene with bottles of booze, cigarettes on this scruffy old electricity box, there's a empty crushed water bottle on the floor. There's some sort of yuck, don't know what it is. And then right next to it is this explosion of color. That's a contrast, isn't it? Look for contrast. I've thrown in an angle. The thing when you're photographing something which is real and not particularly glamorous, how do you move it from a not very glamorous thing to something a little bit otherworldly? Well, I throw in my angles, you know that. And then I've taken the shot from up top looking down, which makes the box look like it's coming out towards you, which is another nice effect. And you've got the box, which you've got everything you see in the shot was made to be in the shot. Nothing is cut. The top of this bottle isn't cut. The bottom of this bottle isn't cut. The edge of this has space. And then the door just falls off the edge, which is fine. So yeah, you've got some nice strong angles there. There's the angle of the door. I can never get this right on the camera. The angle of the door going one way, the angle of the box going another way. And then you've got this nice contrast because you've got the roundness of this little curious item. What is this curious item? Well, there are some people, they spend their life apparently wandering the streets of Paris, taking pictures of these things. You find them on the edges of big doors, and these doors are huge. They open up, and they were from the old days when horses and carriages went in and out, and they were to protect the building from the horses and the carriages, or maybe to protect the carriages from hitting the building. I don't know if the drivers were going back drunk or something. And there's all sorts of them. It's like door knockers. There's all sorts of styles. So in the past, I have wandered around Paris with my head down like a kind of zombie. I'm either looking up like a zombie normally or looking down like a zombie, looking for these things. But it's quite original. It's been painted, which has made it contemporary, and they can be in the shape of lions or, strange little pillars, all sorts of things. All right. And the last one for today is particularly curious. What do you think of this? Tell me. What do you think of this? Tell me in the chat. Leave a comment. What on earth is going on here? Now I understand there's a bit of a delay. There's about 10 seconds delay, I think. So I might not see your comments until if I look at this. Your style is always recognizable. I've got some comments here which I haven't even seen. Am I seeing these comments or not? Okay, yeah, I've got some comments. I'm going to look at these comments. I'm going to put this back. I'm still waiting for comments on this. What do you think is going on here? What on earth is this photograph about? All right. Reinhold says your style is always recognizable. Yeah, thanks. That's really, really nice of you to say so. I don't know if it is or not. I can't see my own style. It's very, very difficult to see my own style. All I know is that I do what I do. A lot of artists of all sorts, they spend years, maybe a lifetime, looking for their style. They don't know what their style is. They don't know how to find a distinguishable style. And all I can say is just get out there and do whatever it is you do. If you paint, paint a lot. If you write, write a lot. Have all your influences and all the rest of it. But I find that trying to choose a style, looking at different people's styles and saying, I want that to be my style. I'll try to write like that or photograph like that or paint like that or sing like that, doesn't work because it's not your style. It's somebody else's. You've got to find your style, or you've got to let your style find you. And if you, Reinhold, you say, my style is recognizable, always recognizable. I mean, that's very, very gratifying. And I'm glad that you said that. But to be honest, I don't know what my style is. I just do what I do. And that's what I recommend you do. Get out there, do your thing, do it a lot. And one day someone will say to you, your style is always recognizable. And that's it. Your style has found you. It's as simple as that. Okay, who's going on here? What's going on here? Carnival. Reinhold says Carnival. The thing is, with a comment like that, Ah, you're commenting on this photograph. It's not exactly carnival, but it is a special day. It's a special day. Very little while ago. It's now December. This was back at the end of October, maybe. And you saw strange people like this on the thing. Someone says, "Hi, I'm back." Who's that? Hi, I'm back. I don't know who that is, but Christina is back. Thank you, Christina. We're just talking about this very strange photograph which I snapped in Paris. My way of taking photographs is that people don't know I'm taking them, and that's one of the amazing benefits of smartphone photography. With certain techniques, you can be taking photographs they don't even know. None of my photographs are portraits of people that I've asked to take their photographs of. That's not my style. It's just not how I do it, which means I have to be quite sneaky sometimes. I don't want people to react to me. I don't want people to hit me if they don't like what I'm doing or don't like being photographed. And also, they do their own thing when they don't know you're taking their photograph. They're doing whatever they're doing. And obviously, if they're doing something interesting, I want them to carry on doing it until I've got the photograph. So the last thing I want them to, they're doing their thing, playing their instrument, looking like a rugby player that's been in a fight, pretending to be the queen. I don't want them to stop doing that. Reinhold says, perhaps sometimes you can explain your style. Well, you can ask me a question, but explain it? Not really. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Not sure about that. Okay, so basically this is it's 31st of October, and in Europe, in France, it's a kind of a day they've adopted from Britain and the States. It's not really their day. You know, they have, I guess Halloween is Hallowed Eve. It's when you honor the dead, basically. And in France, they call it All Saints Night, All Saints Day, something like that, the day you honor the dead. And of course, this has become a big party night. So people are wandering around on the metro dressed up as this girl has got a queen mask on her head, but she's lifted it up because she's got her head down, and she's got some sort of fur on her. So she's obviously going to a fancy dress party as the queen. This guy is got a rugby shirt on and he's got a black eye, so he's going as a rugby player. Basically, you don't have to be a horror person. You can be anything you like. I've got a comment. Hang on. All right, let me just see if I can see who said this. If you haven't given my program steamyard.com/Facebook, you go there, you can just accept their thing with a click, and I can see who you are in the comments. Otherwise, Christina says, your style can be strange. It's just a word, but strange is different equals unique. Your style can be strange. It's just a word, but strange is different equals unique. What does an artist look for? What does an artist try to do? Some artists just paint landscapes or the Eiffel Tower. I guess they're still artists. Other artists try to, I've often thought about this, they try to create something that hasn't existed before in any shape or form. They try to do something unique. Other people, they want to capture the natural beauty of the world. Their aim isn't to create something utterly unique, but to share something amazing with other people. So, I mean, there's no right or wrong, and there's lots of different ways of being artistic. Some people are more into the technical side. I know a lot of people, I've known a lot of people, they're so into their cameras. You know, I've got a huge camera with lots of buttons, and I've gone around Paris with them. And sometimes I have the feeling they're more excited about their new camera and all the buttons and the fancy things it can do and how many pixels it's got than actually pressing the shutter button. Okay, great. You know, they've got a hobby they love. That's fantastic. And then they can compare, I don't know, depth of field or how close to reality their colors are when they get home with other technology enthusiasts. Others can compare composition if that's their thing. So it's not really right or wrong. So what about me? My style can be strange. Strange is a word. It doesn't really mean anything. It just means it's not something whoever has used the word strange is familiar with, you know. Do I have an artistic aim? Yes, I do. I always put it down to this sentence. I can't go any further. My aim is to create images which are somewhere between grim reality and a kind of abstract fantasy. I can't get any closer than that. There are no rules. I'm not trying to make people love my photographs or hate it. If people have a reaction, it's great. If they don't, that's probably as close to a disappointment as I would get if they don't particularly think anything. If they don't like my style at all, that's actually a success for me. And if they love it, that's also a success. So it's about emotion, really. About emotion. So thanks for your comment, Christina. It's really lovely to see you here. And again, is this Christine? Yeah. So an artist aims to create something entirely theirs, show their voice through their composition. Yeah, absolutely. I almost agree, because I know that you're a specialist in underwater photography. So what is your objective? Is it for people to see your voice or your eyes through your photographs, Christina? Or do you want people to look at your amazing photographs of some exotic sea life and be bowled over by that? You know, it's an interesting question. How much do you want to be part of your photographs, and how much do you want to be transparent and just have people commune directly with the incredible images which they, for some reason or other, are not able to see themselves because they haven't invested so much of their time into becoming what you know, someone who can do what you can do. I shoot with my heart through my lens. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Yeah. I mean, that's all you can say, isn't it, really? I try to capture the essence of the moment. Yeah. Yeah, me too. It's like me saying I go into Paris and I let Paris speak to me. I'm sure it's the same for you when you're underwater or elsewhere, you know, like that beautiful photograph on the beach. You let it speak to you. You were wandering, you were moved to capture it. And when people look at that image of yours on the beach, for example, with those lovely ripples and the sea far, far, far away, they saw it through your eyes, through your lens. So they share that moment with you, which is what, for me, is photography. When people look at my photographs, they're in me, in a way. They're seeing it through my eyes, which is very similar to going back to this photograph. When I go back to the first photograph I shared, which you might have missed, Christina, it's my son with long hair. I might get emotional here. Looking through a train as another train thunders towards him, but I am behind him. And now when I look at this photograph, I see that, and I almost live it through his eyes and through his thoughts. He's in the moment like kids are. You know, we stupid adults, we're almost never in the moment. And he is in the moment. He's not thinking, you know, oh, that would make a nice shot, blah, blah, blah. No. He's in the moment. He's looking through that window. He's watching the train go past. He's feeling it, you know. And that's what I try to do. I try to get back to that. Okay, I've got my nice camera. I'm taking a photograph. I'm thinking, where will I publish it? It's part of my series. That's all removing me from reality and experiencing the moment as he is. So he is helping me to get back to that precious moment of childhood where you're not thinking about the past, the future, the consequences, you know. No. So yeah, I get what you're saying there, Christina, you know. Okay, let's carry on the conversation with Christina. It took a great practice and time to do what I do. I am committed and I love it. You have to love what you do. Definitely ocean scenes on the top is also a passion of mine. Yeah. And she also says, I love that shot of your son. It's a moment with an emotion attached. Wonderful. And Reinhold says, are these colors are your fantasy of Paris? Yes, yes. Like I say, I want to move it away from reality. Reality, to be honest, even reality, you can say is not reality. It's just one. Reality is doubtful, if you ask me, very doubtful. When I look at something, I don't see it the same way as you see it. So I kind of, even when I play with the colors, to be honest, someone might say, oh, you used an app. Yes, but no. I want to experience it that way, with funny colors, with rich colors, with strange angles, with special effects from time to time. I don't want to just accept the reality that my senses throw at me. I want to inject myself into it, which is why I play around. There's no right and wrong. You could say that my photographs or your photographs or anybody's photographs are more or less realistic. But I mean, come on, you look at a black and white photograph, you think, oh, it's amazing. But life isn't black and white. They've changed it. It's not real. It's not reality. It's like that story of Picasso. I think it was Picasso. And someone laughed at him or criticized him for his paintings, saying, yeah, okay, you're famous and everything, but your stuff is kind of weird. It's not particularly realistic, is it? I mean, I much prefer it when you paint realistically. And then he said, okay, show me something realistic then. What would you prefer? And the person he was talking to took a photograph of the person's wife or something out of his pocket, and he showed it to him and said, now look, that's a nice picture. That's a realistic picture of his wife. And Picasso looked at it and said something like, okay, well, yeah, she's nice and everything, but she's a bit small and she's a bit flat and she's not very colorful. I mean, the thin black and white piece of paper that he was showing wasn't a particularly good representation of his wife, but he hadn't seen it that way. So as soon as you start interpreting things with any tools at all, get creative. There are no rules. Do your thing. And as Christina said, let your personality shine through. Otherwise, what's the point? It's like I said earlier. If you take a picture straight on of somebody else's graffiti on a wall, however wonderful the graffiti, it's their creation. It's not yours. You've just taken a snapshot. And if that's your thing, fine. It's not my thing. And I don't want it to be your thing either. As a creative person who is watching this, what are you injecting into your images? If we're talking about photography, what are you doing to make your images, to move it away from the reality other people see and to make it yours? Then share it and people say, oh, wow, yeah, I like what you did there. Or, I don't like that at all, actually. I prefer another version. Those are both successes, if you ask me, because you've injected yourself into those photographs. Blah, 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 blah. That's me when I get talking about photography. I'm like you, topside. I'm very fast when I see something. I click away, seizing the moment. Is that still Christina talking? Yeah, that's still Christina. Yeah, if you go to, for other times, if you go to streamyard.com/Facebook, you just click let StreamYard see my username, and I'll see who you are without having to do that. Photography is not about reality, says Reinhold. Some people think it is. Some people, their objective is to create an image that is as close to reality seen by the naked eye as possible. They're right for them. They're right for them. If that's what photography is for them, that's what photography is for them. If that's not what it is for you, that's not what it is for you. Anyway, that's a load of yeah, so this is funny, isn't it? This is a really funny one. I think we've got a few minutes left. Yeah, we've got 10 minutes left. I'm going to look at your photographs. This is the page I put up. I put 2 pages up on a Saturday. The first 2 posts. The first is Sabinar Saturday with this image. Here you can put your photographs underneath and I will talk about them. The other one is the page with the video, which is this. Okay, there's a video. It's a few minutes ago, or a few seconds ago. and that is doing its thing. And so the place to put your photographs for me to talk about them is here. And that's for a technical reason, because I can't see them on the other one. So let's have a look at some of these. Reinhold says, he says, this is a leftover picture from last week's theme. Last week's theme was doors, and this week's theme is patterns. So if you haven't submitted any pattern pictures yet, do. Yeah, he doesn't ask a question or anything, but this takes me back to some sort of strange Eastern Bloc country, almost prison-y type thing. So Reinhold, you've got a style as well, you know, even if you use a certain app quite a lot, that does become your style. It's not a problem, you know. Sometimes people criticize apps. They say, oh, you use such and such an app. Well, maybe you did, but it was your choice to use it. It's like, I mean, why not go back to some of the classic black and white photographers of yesteryear? Hang on a second. I've got some. I'm going to show you. You know, I mean, look. You look at some of these photographs. For anyone who wants to criticize people who use apps, you know, you look at some of these photographs. They're great. You know, we can talk about them. They look they're in a fancy book, so we think they're good. You know, blah blah blah. But you could, if people want to criticize apps, well, you could look at that and say, you used black and white film for that one. Yeah, I know. And they're suggesting they could use black and white film and get just as great photographs as the person who they were looking at. It's not true. Any app, any type of film, anything, any camera comes after the idea for the image, which comes from somewhere. It enters you somehow, and you start thinking, yeah, that would be an interesting picture, even if it happens in a millisecond. Then you start thinking about taking the photograph. But all the creative stuff has happened almost before. Certainly before you click the button. Then you can play around with images. Then you can play around with apps and stuff if you want. This is Alice. Alice says, repetition of parachuting centers. Now, I think this is kind of maybe in the pattern theme. I was wondering, what is a pattern? Is it clear what a pattern is? This was Reinhold's recommendation. And I kind of settled on the definition. I don't know if you have a different one, anybody. A repeating theme. It could be a repeating motive. Normally a pattern isn't necessarily made of things you can recognize, but it could be. So we've got some repeating things here. Repeating parachuting Santa Clauses. Thanks, Alice. This is not necessarily a pattern. Okay, now she says drinks on the march with a big M. I'm not sure why. Liked it, but how to take from a better angle. Why don't you? What's the problem with this angle, Alice? I don't think you're watching live. Is there anything wrong with this angle? What's wrong with it? What's right with it? What have you done here? It's a nice still life. It's fun. It's a funny subject. There's 4 of these things, which is nice because repetition of the object often makes it stronger, because the 4 of them become the subject instead of just one of them. And it's surrounded by similarly colored menu sheets, which gives it a kind of frame within a frame, you see. You've also got these strong lines. Actually, you can't see what I'm talking about. This is one of the dangers of having a fancy thing. And that's quite embarrassing. I wonder how long I was doing that for. Anyway, I'm just wondering if I've got any other comments I should talk about. Underwater, can't ask fish to do a pose again. Well, you could ask. Have you tried? Thanks for this. Great to catch you live. Yeah. So just a couple more minutes. We've got about 5 more minutes. I'm going to look at as many photographs as I can. I don't think there's a problem with this composition unless you do. And I mean, what can I say? Move the camera up and down, in and out, shoot through those things, go to the other side, see what it looks like from there. You know, there's not really rules as such. Just have a go, see what happens. I like the colors though. You know, you filled it. There's nothing extraneous apart from possibly this this little bit up here, which could have been got rid of. I don't know. Okay, let's have a look at another thing. I'll get rid of that. Now this is a poll I did for what you would like to see in the group. So I'm keen to know what sort of things you like. I've suggested a few daily themes, and I'm keen to know what you would like to see. If there's anything you'd like, which I don't currently do, or if you'd like more of something or less of something. I noticed a problem. The poll lets you see 5 options, and there are 3 more there. And most people, I think, you see people have voted there. All these people have voted, but they're all voting only for the visible things. So they don't realize you can click, and there's 3 more options, plus you can add an option. So nobody seems to like my Facebook Lives. I kind of hope you do. Why did I click that? Kind of hope you do, but nobody has actually clicked except in Kutsa. And I think it's because she's the only one who clicked to see the other options. So I'm a bit pissed off about this. But anyway, you're giving me lots of interesting feedback anyway. So that's just a poll to tell you there's a poll. Don't forget, you got to put into this group to get out. So please find time. It can take a couple of seconds to post a photograph with a little comment on somebody else's, and that's it, you're done. And you've contributed to the life of the group. And it's so amazing when I see your photographs, honestly. This is from Thursday. This is me Thursday. Now, I didn't publicize this much, but the idea is you post a selfie so that you're getting used to posting selfies of yourself, and every selfie, make it different and make it creative. And you also can promote any link you like with a link to it so that we can go and discover. Tell us what the link's about. Don't just put a naked link or we have to get rid of it. I want you to write a description, a comment on why this link is interesting, all right? Same with the selfie. You can just post a selfie, but post it with your link. This is Reinhold. And he says, it's a frame within a frame within a frame. Yes, excellent. The frame there's a frame of this bit in the phone thing. So there's a frame behind him, like a doorway. He's put himself in that. Then there's a frame of the telephone, the edge of that, and then there's the frame of the photograph itself. So that's kind of clever. Good. That's what I like to see. Repetition, several layers of meaning to the photograph. Excellent. Anything else I'm missing there? No. And he's chopped his head off just below his nostrils, which is also less traditional. And that's what you need to do. Don't take your standard face-on crap snap. Why do it? Unless that's what you want. Be creative, always. I put this in to inspire you. This can go in both. It's both the selfie and it's in this week's theme, which is patterns. You find patterns everywhere. All those lines, look at those, and then there's contrasting lines. Anyway, there it is. This is Susan. Susan, she said, taken at the India Gate. When I first saw this, I think, oh, it's the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. No, not at all. It's in India. You can see India's colors up here as well, can't you? The green, the orange, and the white. Taken at the India Gate in New Delhi last night. And she gives the names of the apps that she used. And she said, Sab will like the angle, she said. She's not really into the typical selfie. Excellent. Neither am I. I hate them. That's why none of my selfies I don't call them selfies. And I try to make them, weird, horrible, incredible, totally. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so she says I prefer subtle, reflective, or shadow selfies. Yeah, good. His comments are forcing me out of my comfort zone. His is me. My comments are forcing her out of her comfort zone. Wow, that is good. I think that's the point of this group, right? The point of this group is to, get you to be more creative with your photography than ever before. No one will criticize you for anything. We'll encourage you. And the more creative you try to be, the better. That's the whole point of this group, creative smartphone photography. And the thing is, most people, they haven't learned how to be creative. They think you point and shoot. It can be a point and shoot, but it can be so much more. All right, a couple more minutes and then we will call it a day, people. Thank you so much for watching. I've seen a few people coming and going. That's really, really nice. What's this? This is, all right, now don't forget Mystery Monday. Mystery Monday is coming to a close on Monday evening. And this week's theme is patterns, as proposed by Reinhold. And it's a great theme, but it's not always easy to interpret because some people are wondering, yeah, but what is a pattern exactly? Well, as I said, it's a kind of a recurring theme, several of the same thing. It could be several lines together, a row of books, but kind of you move it away from being books and turn it just into the edges of them or something like that, So a pattern is almost abstract normally. So if it's a real thing, you've got to kind of zoom in to get rid of the like this flower here. I can see it's a flower. I can see that there's lots of petals which are the same. To focus on the pattern, you could go even closer. You could actually crop it. If it's going to give it to me, come on. You could crop it like in the middle of this here, so that you've got rid of the leaves, you've got rid of the stems, you've got rid of any flower pots or wall, and it's literally a pattern of little yellow thingies with little orange thingies in the middle. Let's look at some more. This is another one from Yaruska. This is nice because look, you've got the pattern, recurring pattern of these things here. And she said to me, she said in the comment, yeah, but look closer. You can see it in the window as well. This window and this window, you can see it again. It's not the same. It must be a reflection. And you've got this wavy pattern as well. So, she's got a great eye, Yaruska. And you're seeing things that I'm not seeing. So, yeah, do point them out because we don't always see. All right. And moving on to the last couple of things here. Another one from Reinhold with his style. I went somewhere else then. Okay, and now I'm lost. Yeah. I'm looking for Monday. Oh, what's this? Oh, Christina! Couldn't resist her. A late comer from Christina, just as we're about to close. Couldn't resist her. She was so alive and clear about who she was. Title, Be You and the World Will Adjust. She's got bright pink hair. This will be the last photograph. We'll close on this. Couldn't get much better than that, could you? She's got bright pink hair, sunglasses, a rich purpley pink tunic, and has she actually got pink shoes as well, or pink flowers on them, or is it just reflecting her tunic? Yeah, be you and the world will adjust. And there's a smiley with purple eyes, star eyes. Great. Well, let's finish with that. I will just tell you one thing which I mentioned at the beginning, in case you missed it, and that is that something special is coming, and it looks kind of like this. What is this? Well, it's something that's coming, as it says, starts early January 2020, and it's going to be a fun 5-day challenge in our group, which is facebook.com/groups/ how many of these things can I have on open at the same time? Is that going to show me? Yeah. So it's facebook.com/groups/creative smartphone photography. At the beginning of January, there's going to be a 5-day dare, a 5-day challenge. It's obviously free. And for 5 days, everything else will be stopped, maybe for a week. Everything will be stopped, and we'll devote ourselves to a 5-day challenge. It's really fun. There will be live videos. There will be recorded videos. I'm not sure if it's going to be live videos or recorded videos. 5 days in a row, giving you the day's challenge. It's on the same topic. I've almost got rid of it. I don't know if you can see my mouse. You can't. I've almost got rid of what the topic is. I like to tease you. It'll be that topic. It'll be 5 different ways of looking at this topic. It's not always something that people like doing. It'll be great fun to do that. I promise you that. You will never have taken photographs like these before, and you will be able to use them afterwards with great pleasure in your Facebook and your social media stuff as a bit of fun or some impressive images. And there you go. So that's coming in January. Look out for that. It'll be great. And that is the end of the show. Thanks for joining me. There'll be another one around this time next week, next Saturday. Participate in Monday's patterns thing all around you. Someone said to me, Tim Gusta said, yeah, but I'm inside, I don't need to go. I don't want to go out. I said, well, look at this. And in 3 seconds, I'd taken three pattern pictures just in my living room. So thanks for watching. Thanks for being enthusiastic photographers. Keep interacting in the group when you can. If you are just going to go and do Christmas, for example, do that, and please don't even turn your computer on. I think we need a bit of a break sometimes from that. Otherwise, keep Facebooking, keep photographing, and I'll talk to you again very, very soon. On Monday, in fact, there's a Facebook Live on Monday, and it'll be looking at all of the pattern pictures and choosing winners and giving you next week's theme. Bye for now. And one more comment. Thanks, Sab, says Reinhold. Thank you to you too. Bye for now. Thank you, friends.